we believe that our current SIG building isn't a good fit since it doesn't provide the right resources or learning environment for students studying in the specific field, such as engineering. Our current SIG building is just one hallway with a few classrooms, and it's very crowded since we already have a large student body and it's increasing. So that's why we want to create more space and more resources for that. So that's what we did, created a new version of the SIG building. Creating more space and more resources just creates a good learning environment and makes everybody comfortable, including the staff. And it makes more of a traditional high school experience for them.
Of creating our physical prototype, we first created a list of materials that we would need and their prices. With the money that we won, we bought materials that are either important or useful to help us build our physical model. We scheduled a day, a time, and a location to start building our prototype. We decided to go to Brian's house to work on the prototype for about 3 days during the week of Expo. The prototype was kept in Brian's house since he was the one in charge of it. During the build, Brian and I traced where we would place the walls on the board. Then he cut out the boards that will be used as walls and roof and hot glue them to the foundation. Mohammed and Wendy were tasked to edit the Revit model and any work that needed to be done before Expo.
So to discuss our final justification of our final product, we used 2 books for our Expo project. The first one, the architecture design book. The second one, the facilities of school design book. The first one helped us tackle the architecture project and tell us how us as an architecture team can split up the work and work together to finish the project. The second one helped us on design specifications and told us a lot about how we should design a school. And this was also a lot of help from our mentor, Dr. Greer Frederick.
My only other question was, and you might need to zoom out, it seemed like when you walked in the front doors, what you were going to see are the doors to the bathroom. And I was just curious if that was going to be courtyard space, if you might want to move that one restroom just a little bit so that your first impression walking in the building is maybe of a view of that nice courtyard through a window or something, or maybe even access rather than bathroom doors. So that's my only real feedback tip just to think about on this first floor. But I can see where all of your ideas that you talked about last time are now becoming more concrete. You guys have put a lot of work into the plan.
From what we discussed before and now that you're putting on Rivet, it looks like it's coming together. Remember the floor plan that I showed you as a reference? Mm-hmm. Look at that stairway that they had, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Because your stairwells look very small. And your toilet areas, your restroom. The other thing in the makerspace area, consider an overhead door, because you may have huge equipment coming in there. Instead of just having a 3-foot door, either double doors or overhead. Overhead works kind of a lot better.
Laws and codes to justify our final product. We used the CMS Architecture Guide, the School Building Standards Guide, as well as the National Standards Guide for Architecture. Those all helped us create specifications that we can use to guide us and build our project with. We also used the specifications to test the project to make sure that we have an accurate and realistic prototype if we would build this in the real life. The last phase was to make polls for our clients, who are the students and teachers of SEEK, to get feedback on design specifications that they would like to see in the future SEEK building. We used this feedback from our clients as well as the code specifications to create decision matrices that us as a group would decide on which specification would make it to the final design and which wouldn't.
With the first image you're seeing right now, currently it is the science classroom. This is the one that we've always thought was the most needed to change. We had 30 people inside those classrooms, and just all of the backpacks being on the ground, just clustering all of our learning activities. We felt like it was a blockade from our learning experience, especially in science class. We just felt like Mr. E wasn't able to actively teach us what earth science was, and that was just through projects. I've always had fun with his projects, and we just always had ran into the issue of just people bumping into people, projects getting ruined, just being clustered so hard in that classroom. It just felt like I never really fully taken something out of that classroom, and yeah, that was just our main concern with that classroom. The next image you are currently seeing right now is the engineering classroom. We decided to stick with it, just have more open space. That way there's no issues with people, having their materials on another table because there was just no space. Like, for example, in our engineering classroom, even though we had a lot of tables, it just, once it was project day, and seats were just, out randomly, people bumping into people during projects. It was kind of hard, focusing on your project, but at the same time, it just felt like we were all connected together at the same time, which was pretty fun. But change, and we needed more open space for it. So we decided to have more room in there, more space for people to roam around, get the materials from the closet that we've added in there. And yeah, the next image you're currently seeing right now is the makerspace, and this is the one that we were very passionate about designing. We thought this was just a key success for the engineering students there, for all the creative people. Like, for example, Nick, he was very creative. Sally had to leave for some reason, I don't know personally, but he was always creative. He always, had a random idea. Like, we were in science class, he just came up with this random idea. I was like, yo, that's pretty fun to do. Let's try to do it. But Sally, no makerspace. So we thought it was kind of a blockade for the students to really, express their ideas. And it was just, we think it was just really, really helpful for us. As for project days for engineering, we think it would be like very cool, like, hey, let's make this. And as you can see in the image again that I'm showing up again, the makerspace image, you see that there's a lounge, and we think this could be very helpful for people just in groups to come together, talk about like, alright, it's expo time, what do we do? What's our big goal that we have to change? What is something that could change the world? And this happened to us. We were just, with my group, we were just sitting down, pitch week was coming to a close. We had no idea what to do. We were kind of random ideas, good ideas. We thought they were going to be good, but nope, not good enough. So we just sat down, talked about, okay guys, it's game time. What do we got to do? Come on, give me ideas, random ideas. And I remember Gloria saying, why don't we just redesign the SEEK school building? And we're like, that is a really good idea. And it was just random out of the blue. We were just sitting down, talking to each other, and we had this really good idea that we were very passionate about. I liked it a lot, that idea. That was just something that was very hands-on, a lot of more in-depth research, because it was something that neither of us was really good at. We could have done something that we could have built and stuff, but yeah, it was just, we thought, having a design that could just speak for itself was just really, really fun to do, and we decided to do that. And the next image you're currently seeing right now is the presentation room, and this is just all of it being connected together. All of it, like all the presentation, like let's say we're having a sponsor, why not like have them in our Seek school building, get their sponsors to sponsor on us and all that stuff for more projects and stuff like that. And we decided to have a presentation room for that reason. And
one thing that I think went well during the expo presentation was that we were able to efficiently present the problem statement and all of our findings while still keeping the presentation concise for the judges to give us questions. However, one thing I think we could have done better on was use a slides presentation instead of a trifold, since the trifold, the information on it was a lot smaller and was harder to present. And one of the most valuable things I think I've learned during the presentation was the importance of teamwork and communication on a project and personal level. And lastly, one thing I wish the judges could have asked us more about was the design of the school and design specific questions.
So, of course, the expo isn't going to be like how it was last year with the other seniors. I personally didn't like the expo online, but there was no other choice. The expo was okay. Some people did speak, some people didn't. We didn't really get to see other people's faces, just a black screen with the name. But we were ready. We were ready to finish the expo. The presentation was good. It went well. Everything did. The judges did like our project. We noticed that the judges liked how we use our polling information in our project, so that's good. There were some things that we could have done differently. For example, use a Google slide instead of a trifold, since it was hard to read and we couldn't fit a lot of information in it. Google slide would have been so much easier, but well, maybe things would have been differently if it was in person, but we did have fun.
Well, it was pretty fun. The only thing I didn't really like about it was that I had to keep repeating myself for 3 hours. And sometimes we had to wait for the judges to come in all together. But overall it was pretty fun. Didn't really have any issues. When it came to the judges' feedback, one of the judges said that we didn't go over our problem statement, even though we went over it twice or maybe 3 times. But apart from that, the rest of the feedback was good. It was all mostly about our presentation style and our research, so we did learn. But yeah, the expo was pretty fun. The judges were okay, and I would do it again.
hey guys, we're almost at the end of the documentary. How do you guys all feel about the expo? Mohammed, please go first.
Personally, the expo project as a whole, I feel like I really enjoyed that we were working together as a group and collaborating. To me, it didn't really feel like a project, just more of just a fun time with friends working on something that we all like and just enjoying our time.
Great answer. Wendy, your turn.
Yeah, it was fun overall, even though we did struggle here and there, especially with our Revit model and just getting stuff done. But as a whole, it was pretty fun. I'm glad it's over.
Hey.
It's the same for me. I mean, it was a year long. I mean, us together working it was stressful. I'm gonna just say that, but it was really fun working with y'all.
That was really, honestly, you guys were a really fun group. I'm really glad I joined all of y'all. We had our highs and lows, all of those struggles. Documentary week, P3, P1, P2, all of it. It was just really fun to work with all of y'all, and I'm glad I chose y'all as my group members.
That was really heartwarming.